Hi, Mathew. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Doing excellent. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. And thanks for coming it means a whole lot. Okay, Mathew. I am so excited to have you on the show for a couple of reasons, alright? Firstly, my interest in seeking knowledge, because I believe before one can move from a chaotic situation and experience transformation, it takes the application of knowledge, insight. So secondly, the audience, that will be listening or watching this, I believe there are some things that Matthew knows that some of my audience needs to, hear it directly from your mouth in order to experience transformation, be it in the business and stuff like that. And the third one is me, all right? I believe I am definitely going to learn one or two things from your story, your insight, your experiences. So for that reason, Matthew, I want us to get started with your introduction and, your journey, how the journey has been so far, and the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Matthew, over to you.
Okay. I would say I've been self-employed since I was 18 years old. So first off, in brick and mortar, I ended up owning a landscaping business, and from there, we started doing like sidewalks and driveways around people's houses, and that business eventually sold, and I started a concrete business. Um, and then I built that up and traveled. We probably did work in about 15 different states. Ended up doing a bunch of Walmarts, Home Depots, Lowe's, the big box stores, concrete. And then around 2008, 2009, when the housing crash happened, we had a general contractor go bankrupt and they didn't pay us for one of the Walmarts we did. So we ended up losing just short of $500,000. And that was, to me, it was a wake up call that, all right, the risk versus the reward isn't worth it anymore. So we risk so much of our life and time and effort and money, and then one company can do that, and it just kind of there's nothing you can do about it. We tried going to court and a bunch of other stuff, and just they're big enough that they can drag it out forever. And so we kind of I learned the lesson that not all money is equal. You know, what really matters, and the size of the business isn't necessarily bigger isn't better. So what we did is we downsized and became a lot more profitable again, and that gave me the opportunity to sell that business. And I got into the online arena and realized, wow, I can actually build a bigger business without having to worry about the weather and not near as many employees, and it can be virtual, so I can travel. I can literally work anywhere that I have an internet connection. And so that appealed to me, and that's what started the journey into the online world. I ended up selling t-shirts in the beginning for a couple of years, probably for 3 years, and sold about $15 million worth of t-shirts. And then moved into the e-commerce space, which is what I've been working on for the last 10 years. Basically, learning data and analytics, and then how that makes your store convert better so that you can make more sales off the same traffic.
Beautiful. That's actually an inspiring one because you didn't allow the challenge that faced you weigh you down and to give up and not want to continue and try to soar higher. I love that. I love that. That's a good one. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah.
will definitely say there was plenty of moments where giving up would have been a lot easier, but
Hmm,
for me, it was just never a choice.
hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. It was just never a choice. I got that. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions, Matthew?
Sure.
All
Yeah.
right. So let us talk about some of the most effective strategies for improving e-commerce conversion rates. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I would say simplicity. So we always say make it so simple that Homer Simpson would understand it. most people don't realize how often they add complexity or try to use fancy words instead of just making it very simple. They do it with their menu items. They do it, with their branding, etc. Instead of, and what I always say is when people come to your site and leave, there's typically two main reasons. One, they don't trust you, or two, they have unanswered questions. And a lot of times we find that those unanswered questions are actually created by the store owners not being very clear or trying to be persuasive instead of clear.
Got that. Got that. Okay, for the sake of those folks who, they have limited marketing budget, all right, how can they make the most of their limited marketing budget?
Well, one thing that I think AI has done a really good job of is it's made information fairly available to everybody. And so, and we have a blog that you can go to at buildgrowthscale.com/blog that has all kinds of free resources. We have a lot of people that followed us for years and actually built very good businesses before they ever got in touch with us. So there's plenty of information there that will give you all kinds of tips and ways to optimize your site. And they're all principle based, so it doesn't expire with time. It's literally the way that we as humans interact with a website.
Okay, now let us talk about some of the best ways to personalize the user experience on an e-commerce website. You mentioned something similar earlier, so I want us to talk more on that. Yeah, the best ways to personalize the user experience on an e-commerce website.
Yeah, I would say sites are contextual. So not every site can be treated the same. Some people sell a product to 60-year-old seniors. Some people sell a product to, 25-year-old young people. And so every site is different. And so you need to know your audience. The older demographic, the text needs to be bigger. There needs to be a lot more data for them to look at, to understand. And so I think by going through your data, making sure that you have your data accurate and going through it is really the key. Because I would say, we have a set of best practices that we do on every site when we start working on it. But we still, the very, very first thing we do on any client site is we make sure that the data reporting is 100% accurate. And then we use that data to tell us where to go, where to look at, where the wins can be found. We do this all day, every day for, we've been doing it for 9.5, almost 10 years now. And we still run tests all the time that don't work. So if we know how to use the data and still have, probably half of the tests that we run not work, then it just tells you that really learning your data and getting really, really good at it is a necessity in order to actually win. You can't just throw up a website anymore and compete with everybody because you have a lot better competitors in the market that now are putting money behind these stores, and that's who you're competing with.
Very informative. I got that. Okay, let us talk about remarketing campaigns. So what are the best strategies for running successful remarketing campaigns?
We don't do paid media, so I couldn't really tell you as far as remarketing campaigns. What I can tell you is on-site retargeting works really well. And what that is having a carousel at the bottom of the product page that shows the products that the person has recently visited on the site. That particular remarketing on the page works very well and converts very high. So that's definitely something that's available in your themes, and I would use it and play with it to get it optimized.
Okay, I got that. So, concerning paid marketing, what can you say about it? Is it what the time, what the money, and all of that? Can you advise
Yeah,
someone
I
going to
mean,
it?
yeah, you're never going to scale a business without the eyeballs looking at it. So you need to have, if you're going to build a big business, which is what I would think that you want to do, you're definitely going to need to do paid media. And it's its own animal. That's why we don't try to be all things to everybody. We're really good by staying in our lane, and we have very good partners that do paid media, and it's really up to them to drive the traffic and figure that stuff out. And then we make sure that the site is congruent with what they're saying in the ads.
Yeah. Okay, so we have just two more questions to go. Just two more questions to go. Okay, let us talk about artificial intelligence. All right. So, how can e-commerce companies use machine learning and AI to increase their conversion rates?
Yeah, so most of the apps in the e-commerce arena are starting to use it. Shopify uses it for product descriptions. Gorgeous uses it for customer support. Live chat uses it to create stuff like Perfect Bot. There's a lot of different ways now. As you get into it, essentially, my belief is that it doesn't necessarily replace everybody, but what it does is it makes everyone more efficient, and it takes care of the things when you're not on 24/7, which you can't be. That the AI can take care of the majority of issues, so people feel like they're always taken care of.
So, just one more to go. So now, how can e-commerce companies use? You mentioned data. So, how can they use data to inform their conversion rate and optimization strategy? Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So essentially, the more data you have, the more areas in your website or your e-commerce store that you can find where things are working right. And so that's what we look for first. We're not looking for the things that are broken. We're trying to find the things that are working really well. Like certain pages will have a really high conversion rate, or um, certain actions get taken all the time. And so what we do is we go and we study that and then figure out how we can take that area that's winning, and put it in more places on the site so that it works better and it's more understandable for the customer. So really, it's using it to identify what's working, do more of that, and then start looking at the deficiencies next and try to bring those up. But the fastest way to the wins is to find what's already working and expand on that.
Mm, mm, mm. Got that. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Matthew, what would you like to leave the audience with, like your final thoughts? And to those ones who felt like your words resonated well with them and they would like to reach out to you or learn more about what you do, how can that be possible?
Yeah, I would just say it's hard work, but I wouldn't give it up. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love working for myself. I like being calling the decisions for my own life, and so I believe that the hard work is worth it, and that you know you're going to go through some stuff that sucks. Even after the business works, you're still going to go through that. So there's no reason to give up. Give it your best, and just know that failure is just feedback. It doesn't mean that you have to quit. It just means that what you tried didn't work and you have feedback. And so now you can try a different approach. And if anybody wants to get a hold of us or is looking for ways to optimize their e-commerce site, you can go to our website, buildgrowscale.com, and there's ways to get a hold of us, or there's all kinds of free resources on there that will help you in your journey.
Feedback. I got that. Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Matthew. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing these insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.